Today in my market kitchen, I've invited Liz Edgecombe from the Spice People in to help me talk about spices, how to use them, and how to break down their mystique. She's going to show me the best way to incorporate it into your diet, and I'm going to show you a Melbourne classic, smashed avocado. And I'm going to use something that's close to my heart. Now this dukkah, but it's scented with some native Australian spices, and I know that you're becoming an expert on that, aren't you?
Well, that's right. Of course, food trends are always evolving, and native spices and edible botanicals are such a big thing at the moment.
Yeah.
So today, the dukkah you're using has got lemon myrtle, and that's a beautiful native spice, but a very potent one. So we've just used a small amount, and we found that it pairs beautifully with pistachio nuts.
Pistachios?
Yes, that's right.
You know, I'm a big advocate for all things Australian. Lemon myrtle, pepperberry, wattle seed. I think everyone forgets about the world famous macadamia nut. How are you finding introducing these spices to the market?
There are people who are far more adventurous and they like to make everything from scratch. They've got recipes from their grandmother or passed down through families, and they like to make their own unique. So we have over 150 to choose from, so there's plenty.
150?
There is plenty for everyone. But for those of them who are a little bit shy, we have our little handy spice blends. So when I've travelled, I've picked up little gems from different countries. For instance, Moroccan Ras El Hanout. I mean, Ras El Hanout literally means top of the shop. So for those who are just getting started with spices, you can buy some spice blends and use them. For instance, Moroccan spice is lovely with a carrot soup. Just a teaspoon. Yes, that's right. Something really different and simple without being overpowering. So you can get started with spices in a simple way.
That's a really important point to make, because when I first started using spices, I was really deterred by it because of how much you use, what do you put it with, when do you put it in your cooking process.
It's all personal taste, and I hope that I've managed to put together some combination blends that suit the Australian palate.
Now this here, what I'm using is some celery seasoning. Now this is also one of your products which I love to use because celery is a promotant of all flavours. Did you know?
That's right, it enhances rather than dominates. So with spices, sometimes you're using them to enhance fresh food rather than to dominate. So with something like celery salt, it's a natural way to enhance the natural flavours of the food and use a little less salt at the same time.
Yeah. Is there any other way that you can sort of think about these health benefits of spices?
I think the simplest way to increase spice in your diet is to use mixtures and blends that have a good balance of spices, because then they become a flavour base. So for instance, we have curries, because you're wanting to incorporate things like cinnamon and turmeric and cardamom. They're all in most curries. They form the base of a good curry. So if you're using spices to flavour your dishes and you're using less salt, less sugar, less fats, you're going to feel just that energy lift. And that's so important because we all need energy to get through the day, don't we? So
I definitely need a bit more.
That's right.
Now, travelling the world and experiencing all these spices, 2 questions. I want you to give me your overall favourite spice, and then I want you to give me your favourite Australian spice. And a recipe to go with it. Oh,
wow, that's 3. You know, that's a very difficult question. That's a bit like asking me which is my favourite child. An impossible task, because I love them all.
Well, I was an only son for a very long time, so I was the favourite son for a while. I'll start with mine. I think my favourite spice would have to be cumin worldwide. Great spice, adds a nice big aromatic punch to all types of dishes. And then my native Australian, I have a really big soft spot, I think, for pepperberry. It's a great spice to use, or mountain pepper, in sweet and savoury dishes. It's very floral, but then got that nice heat afterwards.
It does, and I think we've got a little packet.
Oh, do we?
As you can see, they look like a peppercorn, but they're actually hollow. And when you grind these up, they do have a clean heat aftertaste. I myself have actually used them in making strawberry jam.
I used it in a strawberry semifreddo. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you're making a gorgeous feast there, aren't you?
We're making a Melbourne brunch, you have to. I have to do the lemon myrtle dukkah some justice.
That's right, the crunchy dukkah there. Look at that, you can see it's full of sesame seeds. And again, this has cumin as a base because, as you say, it pairs well with everything. I mean, cumin and coriander, they're universal spices. I don't think any culture in the world doesn't use them.
Now, let me know what you think of my smashed avocado with your delicious dukkah. High in fibre, high in healthy fats, and of course the lemon myrtle, I'm sure you're aware of it, but it has the highest amount of citral out of all plants in the world.
Well, that's something I didn't actually know, so thank you, Lynton.
98%.
98%.
Yum. It's a much more delicate citrus flavour than, you know, lemon zest or lime. And then I love the crunch of the sesame seeds and that hit of cumin in it as well.
Yeah, this is gorgeous. I'm going to have another bite.
Well, there you go. Liz Edgecombe has come in today and shared some of her amazing ingredients. Lemon myrtle, pepperberry, but also all the other spices in your range are incredible products to incorporate in your diet, not only for the health reasons, but the taste.
That's right. I mean, it's just taste and flavour. You know, sometimes with all our diets, we forget that that is so important to the enjoyment of food, isn't it?
Well, I hope you've learned something today at home because Liz has a lifetime of experience from travelling the world, honing her skills, and 20 years experience in the business of spices. Thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge, but most of all, these delicious, healthy ingredients.
Thank you, Lynton. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure.